guys, I want to talk to you about my current cut. Cuts are so hard. So a cut is just when you reduce your caloric intake. And I'm used to eating a really good amount of calories for maintenance. But in the spring, it's really not spring yet, but leading up to the spring, after the winter where I've really been eating a lot of sugar, more carbs, that kind of like that hibernation food, just a little bit more food to feed my muscles. So it's really great. That's called a bulk. And I don't know that I do it on purpose, but it certainly aligns well with the seasons, right? To eat a little bit more in the winter. And you use that fuel to lift heavier and work out harder, and it just puts on more of that lean muscle on your body. But to uncover the lean muscle, you've got to peel back the layers of fat. To do that, you have to cut some weight. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm going to do it for 3 weeks, and let me just tell you, give you an idea of my numbers. Now, so that you don't just take my numbers and make them your numbers, remember that everyone is totally different. Not only is my height and weight and age going to differ from you, but also, my hormone levels and my history with dieting and all of that, my metabolism. So I'm going to give you my numbers as a guideline, but I don't want you to make it like the forever benchmark. So I'm 5'2", I weigh about 100, right now I'm 115. I really prefer to be like 112, which, isn't that far. But I could lean out just a little bit right now in my midsection. So I typically eat around anywhere from, I have been eating between 1,900 and like 2,200 calories on average. So when I figure out my calories, I take what I eat in the whole week and divide by 7, and that's the average. Because really, your calories, yes, you can do it per day. That's an easy way to track, but you're really looking at, Lucy, what you're getting for the week. So that allows for some days to be higher and some days to be lower, which is why I carb cycle, and I love that approach. It just makes it, some days you just don't need as much food, some days you need more, and that feels really great. So I am cutting my calories to between 1,600 and 1,700 for 3 weeks. That's my goal. Some days I might go up to 1,800 just if I feel really depleted. So that is still going to put me at a slight deficit. So I should lose, probably half a pound each week. So I'll be back down closer to that 112 range. But I lost my train of thought because it's so cold because of the dog. Half a pound a week. Oh, so I said 1,600 to 1,700. Now, how did I find that? Well, I figured out my BMR, which is my basal metabolic rate, and then that tells me my resting caloric rate. So if I were to stay in bed all day, not do anything, how many calories would I burn? Mine's about 1,260. So you always want to add some more back to that because of course I'm exercising and moving around and all of that. So I figure I add 300 or 400 back to be conservative, and that 1,600 still puts me in a deficit. So it's not a huge deficit. It's not like I'm only eating my BMR. I would never, ever, ever advise for you to only eat your BMR. Whatever your basal metabolic rate is, you should never drop below that. If you do because you're sick or something, that's one thing. It's not like you're going to die, but you're going to really stall any progress with fat burning and feeling good and having energy. So your BMR is not your target calorie range. I would always add like 200 to your BMR, and that's a really good place to start for your deficit. So I'm on my deficit. I'm in week 2, or day 2. I wish I was in week 2. Day 2, I'm going to make some sort of a chart that we can color in the days. I don't like checking things off because that feels sad, but if I can color it in, it's like, it changes like from a deficit mentality to like an abundance mentality or a fun mentality, which is funny because I just said I was in a deficit. So I'm going to do that. I'll share that with you guys when I have it. I'm tracking my food on MyFitnessPal. It just makes you so much more aware of what you're putting in your body and where you get your calories. So for example, today, if I've already logged what I'd like to eat today and I have a little extra, and I'm probably gonna fill it with protein and veggies because they pack the biggest punch, right? Protein is good for feeding those muscles, and the veggies are nutritious, and also they fill you up. So it's like, for very few calories. It's almost like you don't even have to count them. I mean, I do, but I barely have to. All right, so this is my day 2 update of tracking and being in a deficit. I will update again in a few days with some more about that because my big dog is about to attack my little dog, so I better save him. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon.